Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to your own platform. We call it as Exam Norm. I welcome you all in your favorite and the most important session. We call it as Finance Norm, which is basically a finance current affairs session, which is live on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. In this session, we discuss all the important news related to the financial world, which include the RBI circulars, as well as we include the important circulars of other regulatory bodies like SEBI, PFRDA, IRDAI, and many other. Along with that, in this session, we discuss the questions or the MCQs related to the same news, and even we discuss the descriptive questions which can be asked from a given news which we are discussing. So before I start with the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can quickly start the discussion without any further delay. आज का जो session है, it's going to be really very important, and I know the last week was quite tough for you guys. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा कंटेंट डिलीवरी हुआ है लास्ट वीक में, बट आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि वो जो कंटेंट डिलीवरी मैंने किया, दैट वाज नॉट अ बम्बार्डमेंट. इट वाज डिलीवर्ड इन सच अ मैनर दैट यू शुड रिकॉल और यू कैन रिकॉल द कंटेंट, यू कैन होल्ड द कंटेंट टिल द एग्जामिनेशन. तो उसी थॉट के साथ आज के इस वीक को भी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं फ्रॉम ट्यूसडे. सो वी आर I'm still planning that I will be coming up with a session this Sunday as well for RBI circulars. तो RBI circulars के लिए एक special session ट्राई करेंगे कि हर संडे आपके लिए प्रेजेंट करें, एंड इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेशन आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट सर्कुलर्स. जो हम सर्कुलर्स इस सेशन में डिस्कस करते हैं वो तो है ही, लेकिन उसके अलावा अगर कोई बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट सर्कुलर है जो मैं चाहूंगा कि उस वीक का यू मस्ट रिमेंबर, यू मस्ट कवर, वो वाला सर्कुलर उस सेशन में भी कवर किया जाएगा. तो इट्स अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू कैन नॉट मिस एनी ऑफ दी सेशंस. तो आपको ये ट्यूसडे, थर्सडे, सैटरडे प्लस संडे, ये 4 सेशंस अटेंड करने हैं फॉर दी फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर्स. ठीक है, उसी सेशन में आई ट्राई कि फर्स्ट विल डिस्कस द 2 इंपॉर्टेंट RBI circulars, and then we will be discussing or we will be revising the previous week circulars as well. So it will be a complete package for you guys. ठीक है जी, start करें. Shall we begin the discussion? So before I start with the discussion, पिछले सेशन से related कुछ questions थे जो मैंने आज के सेशन में आपके साथ डिस्कस करने थे, but I have not framed those questions because I want कि आप थोड़ा और टाइम ले लीजिए, आप थोड़ा और रिवाइज कर लीजिए. Once you are ready with those topics, especially the Saturday and Sunday news, then on Thursday we will be having a quick revision on those news related topics in the Thursday session. ठीक है, तो आज डायरेक्टली न्यूज पे जंप करते हैं, और आज की जो न्यूज है काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. दे हैव अ ग्रेट प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट दोज न्यूज कैन बी डायरेक्टली आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन. इफ वी आर गुड टू गो, जस्ट गिव मी अ थम्स अप. Guys, if we are good to go, just give me a thumbs up so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. Quickly give me a thumbs up if we are good to go so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. So let's get started with the first news. The first news of the evening is related to cross-border inward payments. अगर हम क्रॉस बॉर्डर इनवर्ड पेमेंट्स की बात करें तो एंटायर न्यूज क्या है उसमें तो हम बात करेंगे, लेकिन उसके अलावा इस न्यूज से रिलेटेड क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है, व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट व्हिच कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन, वी विल बी कवरिंग दैट एज वेल. सो प्लीज पे अटेंशन व्हेनेवर वी यूज दिस वर्ड क्रॉस बॉर्डर इनवर्ड पेमेंट्स. इनवर्ड पेमेंट्स बेसिकली मींस द फंड्स which are flowing or the payments which India is receiving from rest of the world. The payment which India is receiving from rest of the world, that is basically known as inward payments. I hope you remember we have discussed a term that is known as inward remittance. That is also the same. What is inward remittance? The inflow of funds from rest of the world, and I would say the transfers which are done by the individuals staying outside India, by the Indian companies operating outside India. They are remitting their profits, their income back to India. So that is known as inward remittance. But here we are not talking about inward remittance alone. We are talking about the inward remittance. We are not talking about the inward remittance alone. Rather, we are talking about inward payments. I hope you know very well that during the G20 meeting, it has been very clearly announced that India is trying its level best to, or the entire major economies all around the globe, they are trying their level best to decrease the cross-border transaction cost, as well as to increase the efficiency in cross-border payments, as well as to increase, or I would say, in order to increase the efficiency of payment when the payment is done cross-border. So in keeping in mind all these objectives, RBI has announced, or RBI has come up with a notification. The notification is guidelines to facilitate faster cross-border inward payments. तो अब guidelines आई हैं, and these guidelines are obviously given by RBI, and these guidelines are given with the sole motive that RBI is trying its level best that these guidelines need to be followed in the country so that we can have faster cross-border inward payments. Now let's discuss all the in and outs of this particular news. The in and out says Reserve Bank of India under its Payment Vision 2025. Do you remember Payment Vision 2025? We have discussed in the previous session itself. In the previous session, we have talked about Payment Vision 2028, and while discussing the Payment Vision 2028, I have discussed with you the Payment Vision 2025 as well. How many of you remember? How many of you remember the nitty-gritties with respect to Payment Vision 2028? How many of you remember? Are you in a position that let's give a quick revision of this Payment Vision 2025? क्या points which I have mentioned in the previous session? Do you remember? Chalo, I'll help you to recall all those points, guys. If I talk about the Payment Vision 2025, which was introduced back in 2022, so this vision is basically for 2022 to 2025. What are the important points under this particular vision? The first important point under this particular vision which you need to remember is the phase. So what was the phase when this Payment Vision 2025 was introduced? So that phase is globalization. That phase was globalization and trust phase. Globalization and trust phase. Now the next point is, sir, what was the theme of this Payment Vision 2025? The theme of Payment Vision 2025 is global integration. The theme is global integration. You need to remember this. Theme means the overall context, overall point of, I would rather use a word focus, otherwise it will be a confusion for you. So what was the focus area of this particular vision, Payment Vision 2025? That is global integration. The next point is, sir, what are the objectives of Payment Vision 2025? If someone asks me, what are the objectives of Payment Vision 2025? My answer would be, sir, the objectives are build trust. You try to build trust, कि भैया आप trust को बढ़ाओ ताकि there will be dependency of the public regarding these global transactions, as well as expand your global reach. Expand your global reach. It's all because of trust. India's UPI is now being implemented in most of the countries out there. अब वो reach क्यों बढ़ी, वो expansion क्यों हुआ? That is all because of the trust. The next point is actually the theme of Payment Vision 2025. What is the theme of Payment Vision 2025? So that is 4 E's. Do you remember, guys? 4 E's. These 4 E's stands for everyone, everywhere, every time. I hope you remember. Everyone, everywhere, every time is the theme for this particular Payment Vision. Now, not only this, the question will be asked in the examination from the Payment Vision 2028 as well. Now, if I talk about the Payment Vision 2028, what all points you need to remember? The first point is, what is the theme of Payment Vision 2028? So the theme of Payment Vision 2028 is shaping. It is shaping India's payment frontier. Shaping India's payment frontier. And यहाँ पे अगर हम बात करें, now India is not talking about expansion of digital payments. Rather, India is talking about better services, increase in trust, better safety, security to the users who are using the digital payments in the country. So that has been witnessed. This is what is related to Payment 2025 and 2028. If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. It's a quick revision, और ये revision बहुत important है. Otherwise, it will be impossible for you to retain this data. It will be impossible for you to retain so much information till your examination. ठीक है? Now, coming back to the news, So Reserve Bank of India under the Payment Vision 2025, what is Payment Vision 2025? I have given you the answer, has emphasized enhancing efficiency of cross-border payment system. So in the Payment Vision 2025, RBI has emphasized talking about the enhancing the efficiency of cross-border payments, and the same target was set under the G20 discussions as well. So this roadmap targets making cross-border payments. So what are the targets? So the targets are making the cross-border payment cheaper, faster, more transparent, and widely accessible. Please note down, these are the keywords. I have seen yesterday, I was checking the descriptive answers which are submitted by the paid students on the platform. I have seen that you guys are not writing the correct keywords while answering a question. Remember that these keywords are very important. So अगर आप कुछ नहीं भी याद कर रहे, पूरी स्टोरी नहीं भी याद रखनी, तो एटलीस्ट एक कीवर्ड्स याद रखो which you can insert while giving the answers. So the key challenge, what are the key challenges which are identified in the cross-border transaction? So the key challenge which is identified as the सबसे important वाला challenge, that is delay. It is the delay at the beneficiary stage. Delay at the beneficiary stage. Beneficiary stage का मतलब, sir, I am the sender. I have sent the funds from Canada to India, and my father is, let's say, the beneficiary, and the funds are received either in the beneficiary's account, or it is received in the through the transfer agents. We call, for example, we have Union Money Transfer. So whatsoever is the medium, the delay is over here. The delay is over here, that funds, they have reached India, but there is a delay. The fund reach to the ultimate user. So that is what it says, particularly the time lag between the receipt of funds by the beneficiary bank. Time lag between the receipt of funds by the beneficiary bank and the final credit to the customer's account. कि भैया बैंक के पास तो पैसा आ गया, लेकिन वो पैसा आपके बेनिफिशियरी के अकाउंट में क्रेडिट होने में जो समय है, the difference है, that is very high. So this efficiency has been attributed to the operational bottlenecks within the banks. So this is nothing but it is the efficiency because of the operational issues which are prevailing with the bank. So upon reviewing the existing framework for the inward means somebody is sending funds to India, that is inward payment. So for the inward cross-border payment, the RBI has issued set of directives. Please pay attention. इन्हीं problems को देखते हुए RBI ने कहा भैया मैं आपको कुछ set of rules, कुछ set of directions दे रहा हूं, which are aimed at streamlining the processes and improving customer experience. So we are coming up with some directions which have been given by RBI, and these directions are expected by RBI to streamline the process and improve the customer experience. अब question ये है कि sir what are these directions? If I talk about the first one, the first direction is immediate customer intimation, which means bank must promptly inform the customer upon receipt of inward cross-border payment messages. If such messages are received after banking hours, customer must be notified at the beginning of the next business day. This is very important. क्या है सर कि अगर बैंक के पास जैसे बैंक के पास आपके फंड्स रिसीव होंगे, there is a condition which has been introduced that bank will be informing the customer right away कि we have received your funds, and if these funds are received beyond the banking hours, then the message will be shared on the very next day. So this is what the customer intimation the customer intimation means. Banks must promptly inform the customer upon receipt of inward cross-border payment messages. If such messages are received after banking hours, customer must be notified at the beginning of the next business day. This is the first point. Second point is faster reconciliation of nostro accounts. Nostro accounts means, अब यहाँ पे point है, please try to understand this point very carefully. Let's say we have a Bank of America, and if Bank of America is opening up an account in SBI, and that too in Indian rupees, so with reference to Bank of America, it will be nostro account, and with reference to SBI, it will be vostro account. ये बात समझ आ रही है? We say our account with you, your account with us. तो यहां पे अगर हम देखें your account with us, अगर SBI is the reference point, तो ये जो बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका का अकाउंट है, बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका का जो बैंक अकाउंट है with SBI which is holding INR, that will be termed as Vostro account, and Bank of America will call that account as what? So Bank of America will call that account as Nostro account, our account with you in foreign country in foreign currency. Are you getting my point? अब देखते हैं इसमें Vostro या Nostro का क्या point है. It has been observed that many banks they rely on end of day reconciliation of Nostro accounts leading to delays. So RBI now mandates that bank undertake reconciliation of a near real-time basis or at frequent intervals with a maximum gap of 1 hour. With a maximum gap of 1 hour. इस पूरे के पूरे सेंटेंस से क्या समझ आया? Most of you might not be getting the point. But what is the meaning? First of all यहाँ पे दो पॉइंट है. Nostro, वो मैंने आपको बता दिया. What is the meaning of Nostro? So Nostro is nothing but it is the account maintained by a foreign bank in India in Indian currency. With respect to foreign bank, it will be Nostro account, and with respect to Indian bank, it will be termed as Vostro account. But now here the question is, we are talking about a term that is, we are talking about a term that is one second. Just a second, guys. Hanji. So the next point we have is reconciliation. Now the question is, so what is the meaning of this particular term and how this term is important in this particular context? अगर हम इस particular context की बात करें और इसके importance की बात करें, so what will be the importance over here? What will be the importance over here? Any idea? What do you understand by this particular term? चलो मैं बताता हूं, इसको ध्यान से समझना. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लेट मी रिमूव माई इमेज सो दैट वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द टर्म्स प्रीटी केयरफुली. सो द फर्स्ट टर्म ओवर हियर इज वी कॉल इट एज reconciliation. Now the question is, what is the meaning of this particular term? Anybody who have heard this particular term in the past can give me the answer. Because ये कोई एक ऐसी टर्म है जिसको सेटलमेंट से नहीं डायरेक्टली लिंक किया जा सकता, बट इसके मीनिंग को समझना काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. इफ यू कैन आइडेंटिफाई इट, इट वुड बी गुड. अदरवाइज ऑब्वियसली आई हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई. आई विल बी डूइंग दैट. एनीबडी आउट देयर? नो? चलो मैं आपको बताता हूं. द वर्ड रिकंसाइलेशन या नॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट यहाँ पे क्या है? सबसे पहली पॉइंट है, सबसे पहली चीज है, व्हेन वी यूज दिस वर्ड reconciliation of nostro account, it basically means matching the bank's internal records with the actual balance which is shown by the foreign bank. This is the actual balance which is shown by the foreign bank. There is a mismatch. Why there is a mismatch? So there is a mismatch because of different time zones. There is a mismatch because of delayed transaction. There is a mismatch because of swift message delay. There may be a mismatch because of error or fraud. और इन्हीं issues की वजह से, अब इन्हीं issues की वजह से RBI ने क्या कहा? That you should come up with a regular basis. You should come up with a regular basis of reconciliation. Reconciliation का मतलब है चेक करना, मैच करना. You are matching the bank's internal books with the actual balance which is shown by the foreign bank. कि भैया आपका जो फॉरेन बैंक है वो आपके अकाउंट में कितना बैलेंस शो कर रहा है और एक्चुअली में आपके अकाउंट में कितना बैलेंस होना चाहिए था एज पर योर डिटेल्स. जब आप उन्हें मैच करते हैं, देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम दैट यू ऑलवेज विटनेस, दैट देयर इज अ मिसमैच, एंड दैट मिसमैच is because of the different time zones, it is because of the different formats, it is because of the different ट्रांजेक्शन फॉर्मेट्स. तो उसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू को यहां पे ध्यान में रखते हुए, रिकंसिलिएशन बेसिकली मींस व्हेन यू कंपेयर टू रिकॉर्ड्स. Record 1 is the record with the bank, let's say Bank of America. Bank of America कहता है कि सर हमने इतना पैसा भेजा तो हमारा जो अकाउंट है SBI में, उस SBI के बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका के अकाउंट में इतना फंड होना चाहिए. There should be this much fund which should be there. But ये जो मैचिंग है, if you do this matching, there is a mismatch. And why there is a mismatch? सर ये मैच क्यों नहीं होता? Because of different time zones, because of different issues of delays and what else I have discussed, or many other reasons which I have discussed. तो पहले ये जो मैचिंग था, ये जो चेकअप था, that was done on one day, one time basis. It was relying on end of the day reconciliation of nostro account. तो उसमें क्या होगा कि सर बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका के अकाउंट में जब तक पैसा रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं करेगा, दैट फंड विल नॉट बी क्रेडिटेड इनटू द अकाउंट ऑफ द बेनिफिशियरी. तो तब तक वो पैसे मेरे फादर के अकाउंट में रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे नहीं. अब जब तक वो पैसे मेरे फादर के अकाउंट में रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं करेंगे तो बेनिफिशियरी को तो फंड्स मिले नहीं. बट बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका की भी गलती नहीं है, क्योंकि बिकॉज दोज फंड्स दे हैवंट रीच to the bank, they haven't actually reached in the format of, or they haven't actually reached in the process of transaction. तो इन दोनों चीजों को ओवरकम करने के लिए कि जो आप मैचिंग कर रहे थे on one day basis, at the end of the day that won't be done. Now the matching will be done, the comparison of the data or the records will be done on real time basis or at a frequent level with a maximum gap of 1 hour. तो आप चाहे आधे घंटे में चेक करो, चाहे आप 45 मिनट में मैच करो, चाहे आप 50 मिनट में मैच करो, आई डोंट केयर, बट द मैक्सिमम गैप कुड नॉट बी मोर देन 1 hour. अब नॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट दूसरी तरह भी पढ़ सकते हैं. An account that an Indian bank holds in the foreign country in foreign currency, that is also known as what? So that is also known as nostro account. So earlier practice was the account was reconciled once daily. There was a large gap between the transaction and verification, but now it will be done on near real-time basis, which will be a kind of continuous process, or at frequent intervals this review will be done, and there will be a maximum gap of up to 1 year. There will be a maximum gap of up to 1 hour. अब ये जो रियल टाइम रिकंसिलिएशन है, इट वर्क्स बिकॉज इट इज एन ऑटोमेटेड सिस्टम. अब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि बार बार जाके बैंक के एम्प्लॉइज बैठ के मैच करेंगे, नहीं सर, ये एक ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम है. तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली जो बैलेंसेस ऑफ द टू शीट्स दे विल बी मैच्ड. कॉन्टिन्यूअस मैचिंग होगी, और अगर कोई एक्सेप्शन सिनेरियो है दैट विल बी ट्रेस्ड, दैट विल बी हैंडल्ड. क्लियर है जी, समझ आ गया पॉइंट. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट, टाइमली क्रेडिट टू बेनिफिशियरी. सो बैंक शुड एंश्योर दैट payment received during the foreign exchange market hours are credited on the same business day. तो जो पैसा आपके पास आया, and those funds which you have received within the timelines of the foreign exchange market hours, that should be transferred to the beneficiary's account on the same business day, while those which have received after the market hours can be transferred on the next working day. So in order to avoid the gap which was earlier, or the delay which was earlier there, that the funds reach to the beneficiary after 2 to 3 days, that need to be overcome with the new guidelines which have been given by RBI. The next point is straight through processing. It is based on internal risk assessment. Banks are encouraged to implement automated system for seamless crediting of funds, especially for individual resident accounts. तो straight through processing का मतलब जैसे ही आपके पास यहाँ automated confirmation आया that funds have been credited, the moment you have received the automated confirmation, then it is within the timelines of the foreign exchange market. So automatically this amount need to be transferred to the beneficiary's account. This has been also proposed under the same. Then we have digital enablement. Banks are advised to develop user-friendly digital interfaces, and especially these interfaces will enable the customers to manage their foreign exchange transaction, submit their documents, and track payment status efficiently. So these directions will obviously, it will come into effect, and it will take some time, and there is a timeline of 6 months. That means these directions will come into effect 6 months from the date of issuance. तो आज जैसे अगर हम बात करें, these directions were issued on 10th of April. So from 6 months from 10th of April, that is 10th of September, we are expecting that these directions will be implemented. That means the inward remittance will be settled down. it will be reflected into the beneficiary's account quite early in comparison to the current delays which we are witnessing. ठीक है जी, समझ आ गई बात, क्लियर हो गया? अगर सब सही है, मजा आया हो, एक बार थम्स अप टाइप, जस्ट गिव मी अ थम्स अप एंड लेट्स सॉल्व अ क्वेश्चन ऑन द सेम. क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है? सो विद रेफरेंस to the recent directions which are issued by Reserve Bank of India on cross-border inward payment, consider the following statement. Banks, they must inform the customer of inward cross-border transaction immediately upon the receipt of message. That is correct. Sir, it is correct. अगर हम टेक्निकली बात करें तो ये करेक्ट है, क्योंकि इसमें आपको इन्फॉर्म करना है. लेकिन अगर आपके पास मैसेज आया एंड दैट मैसेज बैंक हैज रिसीव्ड beyond the banking working hours, in that particular case you might not forward the message and you can forward it to the in the next day. You can forward the message next day. That has also been given the point. So first statement is correct. Reconciliation of nostro accounts should mandatorily be done only one at the end of the day. So no, it is not mandatorily be done. It is already being done once in a day, which is wrong. So now RBI has recommended to increase the I would say to increase the interval, or I would say to decrease the interval of reconciliation, and the maximum time gap between the reconciliation activity should be 1 hour. So it say reconciliation interval should not exceed 1 hour. That is correct. Payment received during foreign exchange market hours will be credited into the bank account the very same day. That is correct. Straight through processing is mandatory for all types of customers without exception. No sir, it is not mandatory. ध्यान से पढ़ो. Based on internal risk assessment. So अगर बैंक को लगेगा कि we have a customer with lowest risk, for that kind of customer automatic transfer will be done. But if there is a risky customer, then the amount will be credited only after the confirmation given by the bank. So fifth statement is that is why wrong. It's not mandatory for all customers. It depends on internal risk assessment done by the bank. So answer to this particular question would be, so 1, 3, 4, that means A option is the correct answer. I hope you all were able to give the answer. Chalo ji, agla question hai, take the screenshot. You have 5 seconds. Quickly take the screenshot of this particular question. This is the second question which you will be giving me the answers in the comment section below. You will be giving me the answers in the comment section below. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I hope done. Chalo. Let's move on to the next news now. अगली न्यूज जो है उसका मैंने एक glimpse आपको पिछली क्लास में दिया था. What was that glimpse? So the glimpse was limits for investment in debt and sale of credit default swap by foreign portfolio investors. Credit default swap by foreign portfolio investors. अब यहाँ पे अगर हम बात करें, what is this credit default swap? What is the debt and sale limits of credit default swap? Before I come to that, we should understand the limits for investment in the debt and sale of credit default swap by FPIs. So सबसे पहले we'll talk about the limits which we have for FPIs. So this news is directly or indirectly related to which chapter of finance syllabus? It is directly or indirectly related to digital payment chapter of finance syllabus, that is development of digital payments in India or development of digital payments in general. Now let's start this news not from here. We'll start this news from here itself. It says foreign portfolio investment. What is foreign portfolio investment? So it basically means when the foreign investors, they invest in India. They have two formats. One is known as FDI, where the investment is done for long term and the investment is done for greater than 10% of the company's shareholding. But if the investment in a company is done not to manage the company, not to run the company, not to look after the day-to-day operations of the company, rather the investment is done in a company, and that too up to 10%, and that too the investment is done through the stock market, through the secondary market, and the sole motive is trading profit. That means you are purchasing the instruments today and you are looking forward for capital gain. Capital gain means you have purchased the share for 1 lakh for 100 rupees and you're expecting the price of the share will increase, and the moment the price increases, you will be selling it to recover the funds, or you will be selling it to gain the profits. Now the point over here is, when we talk about FPI, they can not only invest in the instruments like equity shares or preference shares, but they are also allowed to invest in the debt instruments. They are also allowed to invest in the debt instruments. So in this case, when we talk about the FPI, so FPI can invest in the debt instruments as well. The investment done by the FPI in the debt instrument, it may look like that it is resulting in increase in inflow of foreign currency in India. It may result in that it will improve the forex reserves of the country. But actually, if the investment is done by the foreign investors in the debt instruments, it is a liability on the nation. It's a liability on the nation. In order to, I would say, limit this liability, there are certain limits which have been announced by the government. So government comes up with two routes. If a foreign investment is done in the debt instruments, in that particular case, we say first one is fully accessible route, and the other one we call it as non-fully accessible foreign portfolio investment. Technically, अगर आप ढूंढने जाएंगे, you will be finding out, you won't find any official term. You won't find any official term like non-fully accessible route. ऐसी कोई term आपको कहीं लिखी हुई नहीं मिलेगी. It's just I'm giving you this term to understand. So what basically these two means? So if I talk about the fully accessible route and non-fully accessible route, these two routes are basically defined where the foreign portfolio investment is, the foreign portfolio investors, they are investing in the debt instruments, and that too they are investing specifically in the government securities. So in order to avoid the liability of the government, in order to limit the liability of the government, there are certain criteria which have been set. So the first one we have is fully accessible route. Fully accessible route is basically it is designated as the route for non-resident investors, where they are allowed to invest in specific, notified government securities without any investment limit. So यहाँ पे कोई investment limit नहीं है, लेकिन the securities are specified and notified. It aims to increase the foreign participation in India's bond market, but it is providing access to certain government securities. It is not providing access to all the government securities. So what are the investment limits? Investment under fully accessible route are free from any investment limit. What is the RBI role? So RBI role is basically to identify, to designate the securities which are eligible for investment under FAR. कि भैया fully accessible route में कौन सी security है which will be included. For example, government has issued 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of bonds. And RBI says कि only 10-year bond is eligible under FAR, and rest all the bonds, they are not included under FAR. That means in all the other instruments, foreign investment cannot be done without any limit. The next point we have is non-accessible route. What is this non-fully accessible route? So it is basically a route where foreign portfolio investment, if the foreign portfolio investor wants to invest in the financial securities, including the government securities, they cannot invest without any restriction. There are certain investment limits and there are certain restrictions. Now let's find out what are these restrictions. First one is, if I talk about the limits, so the limits are, if you want to invest in government securities, that is central government securities, the limit is 6%. Foreign portfolio investment can be done up to 6%. For example, government is issuing a security of value 100 crores. So in that 100 crore rupees of security worth issuance, 6% can be done through foreign portfolio investment. In case of state government, it is 2%, and in case of corporate bonds, it is 15%. So let's read out. So FPI investment in government securities are subject to limit, which are typically expressed as the percentage of outstanding stock of securities. So FPI investment may be subject to other restrictions such as those related to types of security that can be invested. RBI set the limits and restrictions. The current limits are 6%, 2%, 15% respectively for the financial year 2024-25. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर क्या ये लिमिट्स आज भी सेम है? क्या ये लिमिट्स आज भी सेम है? तो पहले मैं इसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर दूंगा. एज पर द लेटेस्ट अनाउंसमेंट, the limits for FPI in government securities, in state government securities and in corporate bonds remains unchanged. That's at 6%, 2% and 15% respectively for the financial year or for the outstanding stocks of securities for 2025-26. तो जो भी हमारी outstanding stock of securities है for 2025-26, the investment limit for the financial year 2026-27 by the foreign portfolio investment in government securities, state government securities as well as in the corporate bonds is going to be same 6%, 2% and 15%. Clear हो गई ये बात? समझ आ गया point? If it is clear, give me yes sir. If it is clear, give me yes sir. Then I'll move ahead. I'll explain you कि ये जो chart है नीचे ये क्या कह रहा है. What is the meaning of this table which is on the screen? We will be discussing that. Is it done? Give me yes sir. ठीक है. Now after that the next point is, so what are the current FPI limits? If I talk about the current FPI limits, that is 6% of government security outstanding stock के हिसाब से जो बनता है वो कितना है? So that is 2,89,488 crores. याद नहीं करना, it's just for your reference. Now the limits have been revised. For the first half it is 296 and for the second half it is 3,04,000 crores. तो ये बस लिमिट्स दी गई है. What overall investment can be done? What overall investment can be done by the foreign portfolio investors in the different types of securities depending upon their limits? It is just that. इससे ज्यादा आपको ना कुछ याद करना है ना आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. अब पॉइंट आता है कि क्या क्या चीजें आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है वो सुनना. The allocation of incremental changes in the government security limit in absolute terms over the two subcategories general and long term has been retained 50-50. अगर हम यहां पे देखें कि सर जो आपकी जनरल और लॉन्ग टर्म, these are the general and long term general and long term limits have been enhanced, and this enhancement has been done for FPI investment, that is 50-50%, that is 50:50. The entire increase in the limits for state government has been added to the general subcategory. तो जितना भी increase हुआ in the state government उसको हमने इसी में add किया as per the that has been added into the same as it is very clearly mentioned. तो अगर आप ध्यान से देखें 50%, तो ये जो 50-50 वाला पॉइंट है वो आपको याद रखना. और जनरल स्टेट गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज जनरल में जो इंक्रीमेंटल है दैट हैज बीन एडेड. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज all investment by eligible investors in the specified securities shall be done under the fully accessible route as mentioned with effect from 1st April 2026. All existing and future investments, this is very important कि सर इंडिया में जितनी भी voluntary retention route के through investments हो रही थी, existing as well as new, they will also be included under the category of general route only. अब यहां पर आपके पास कोई वॉलंटरी रिटेंशन रूट नहीं बचा क्योंकि वॉलंटरी रिटेंशन रूट का जो लिमिट था, जो कि I would say the targets which have been set up that have been almost achieved, and that is the reason now voluntary retention route is no more a different category. It is also included under the category of general route only. ठीक है, ये सारे पॉइंट्स क्लियर हो गए. If these points are clear, give me yes sir so that I can move ahead. If these points are clear, give me yes sir so that we can move ahead. अब अगला पॉइंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जो कि एक्चुअल न्यूज है. वो एक्चुअल न्यूज क्या है? So the actual news is in terms of aggregate limit, the notional amount of credit default swap sold by FPI shall be 5% of outstanding stock of corporate bonds. Accordingly, additional limit of 3,30,000 crore is set for 2026-27. तो अगर आप ध्यान से देखें 5%, तो वो जो 5% वैल्यू है that is basically termed over here, that is credit default swap. अब I don't know how many of you are aware of this credit default swap. Then my answer to this particular question would be, so credit default swap क्या है? Sir, it's a kind of insurance. It's a kind of insurance that investors seek if they are worried about the company's ability to pay off. For example, we have a company that is ABC. The ABC company has issued the bond. The bond has been purchased by 123 firm and it buys the bond from the company ABC. It buys the bond from the company ABC. Now this individual is worried कि भैया अगर कल को ये कंपनी मर गई, अगर इस कल को कंपनी कुछ हो गया तो मेरा पैसा कौन देगा? तो इस प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन है, उस प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन क्या है? दिस फर्म, व्हाट दिस फर्म कैन डू, दिस फर्म कैन गो टू अनदर institute, let's say it goes to a bank and insurer the bond for 123 firm and agrees to pay if the value of the bond of ABC defaults. तो इसमें क्या हुआ? 123 फर्म ने अपना जो बॉन्ड का रिस्क है वो उन्होंने आगे जाके बेच दिया बैंक को, और इस बैंक ने कहा ठीक है, अगर ये कंपनी डिफॉल्ट हुई then I will be paying on the behalf of the company, but I won't be doing this, or I won't be providing you with this guarantee, with this services without charge. I will be charging a fixed charge on it. So in return, ये जो 456 बैंक है, it gets a fee, usually a percentage of the value of the bond, and it will be paid by none other than 123 firm. पॉइंट समझ आया? इजी है ना? पिक्टोरल व्यू से और ज्यादा क्लियर हो गया होगा, पिक्टोरल व्यू से और ज्यादा क्लियर हो गया होगा. आई होप इट इज क्लियर. ठीक है जी, क्लियर होगी ये बात. तो पॉइंट क्या कहता है? पॉइंट बड़ा सिंपल है कि मान लो कि एक कंपनी है, लेट्स से इन्फोसिस has issued the shares and these shares are, sorry, Infosys has issued the debt instruments. Let's say they have issued the corporate bonds. These bonds have been purchased. These bonds have been purchased by foreign portfolio investor. That means they have purchased the bonds and they have invested in these debt instruments through foreign currency. But this investor is feeling, I would say, anxious. He is feeling that अगर कल को इन्फोसिस ने पैसा ना दिया तो क्या करेंगे? In that particular case, FPI can go to a company, let's say it's going to a bank X and they sign a contract. On that contract, it is written that the bank X gives guarantee on the behalf of Infosys. If Infosys do not pay, then X bank will pay to the FPI on the behalf of Infosys, and against this contract, against this service, a service charge is charged by the bank. So this process is what? So this process is known as you are swapping your credit default. So UR means FPI is swapping its credit default probability. It's swapping its credit default probability with the bank, and the name of that bank in our example is X bank. I hope it is now clear to everybody. So what is credit default swap? So credit default swap is very easy. It basically means when the foreign portfolio investors, they sign a contract where they transfer their credit default risk to the other party against a fixed service charge, that is known as credit default swap, and FPI shall be allowed to sign only 5%, shall be allowed to sign only 5% of the outstanding stock of corporate bonds. So FPI can invest 15% of the outstanding stock, but FPI can sign only 5% of the credit default swap agreement against the corporate bonds. Rest 10% of the corporate bond invested, or the rest 10% of investment done by FPIs in the corporate bond cannot be swapped, or its risk swapping cannot be done. Is this clear? Is this clear? If it is clear, give me yes, sir. But bank would have to access the file. Bank will do that through expense. Bank will do that. Bank पूरा चेक करेगा कि क्या इन्फोसिस की हालत कैसी है, और अगर बैंक को लगा कि इन्फोसिस के डिफॉल्ट होने के चांसेस बहुत कम है, देन ओनली बैंक विल गेट इनटू दिस अग्रीमेंट. अदरवाइज बैंक विल नॉट unnecessary create a situation of default for itself. So if I talk about the utilization, government bonds 22.3% of limit used, and corporate bond 15.7% of the limit is used, and the limit is decided as 5% of the total आउटस्टैंडिंग स्टॉक ऑफ द कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स। तो उन्होंने पूरी की पूरी अभी तक लिमिट यूज नहीं भी की है और अभी भी जो लिमिट है दैट इज 5% ओनली। सो क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट स्वैप इज अ टाइप ऑफ क्रेडिट डेरिवेटिव दैट प्रोवाइड्स बायर विद प्रोटेक्शन अगेंस्ट डिफॉल्ट एंड अदर रिस्क। आई होप इट इज क्लियर टू एवरीबॉडी। एक बार इसको पढ़िएगा, कोई डाउट होगा तो अगली क्लास में मुझसे जरूर पूछिएगा। लास्ट पॉइंट पे मैं जाना चाहूंगा बिफोर आई कंक्लूड। There is one more master direction given by RBI that is also related to the same discussion, that is non-resident investment in debt instruments. तो ये जो non-resident investment है in the debt instrument, it comes up with certain limits. It comes up with certain limits. Let's quickly see those limits और इसकी जो बाकी पूरी स्टोरी है that we can discuss in the next session. तो ध्यान से सुनना, कुछ 2-4 चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट है with respect to this particular discussion and I am pretty sure you will be able to understand it. So whenever we talk about the investment, so please pay attention. Foreign portfolio investment, if they want to invest in the government securities, then this investment is done through different routes. So the first route we have is the first route we have is general route. The first route we have is general route. If I talk about what is this general route, and what are the limits with respect to this general route, please pay attention. Sir, in case of general route, we always say that this is a route where investment can be done, but the investment will be done with limits. And what are the limits for foreign portfolio investors? So the limits are for central government securities, the limit is 6%. For state government securities, the limit is 2%. And for corporate bonds, the limit is 15%. This is something which you need to remember. अब अगर हम rules की बात करें, rules for the government security. So the rules for the government security over here is, there are some more rules which we need to remember. What are those rules which we need to remember under the general route? So under the general route, you need to remember there is no minimum maturity. In this case, no minimum maturity is fixed. कि भैया 2 साल, 3 साल, 4 साल, ऐसा कोई पॉइंट नहीं है, कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. But if it is a short term government security, that means if it is a treasury bill, in that particular case, maximum investment can be 30%. So maximum investment which can be done by the foreign portfolio investors, that is 30%. Overall limit 6% है, लेकिन उस particular short term security के लिए जो limit है, that is what? So that is the concentration limit. Investment in one security, that is maximum 30%. If I talk about the long term foreign portfolio investment, the limit is 15% in the long term debt instruments. The limit is 15%, and if I talk about the other instruments, in that case the limit is 10%. तो ये limits जो है ये आपको याद रखनी है. For the general route, it is very important. Now, if I talk about the corporate debt, in case of corporate debt, if the foreign portfolio investors, they want to invest in the corporate debt, that means the debt instruments which are issued by the companies. In that particular case, what are the conditions? So minimum maturity is greater than 1 year. कि भैया 1 साल minimum maturity, 1 साल से ज्यादा होनी चाहिए, उससे कम नहीं होनी चाहिए. Max investment per issue, कि जो per issue किया गया उसमें max investment foreign portfolio के through कितनी होगी? So that will be 50%. And if I talk about the limit, so for corporate bonds, this limit under general route is what? So that is 15%. Under general route is what? So that is 15%. Clear हो गई बात? समझ आ गया point? Is this point clear? Do reply in the comment section. तो ये लिमिट्स काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, याद रखिएगा. इसके अलावा अगर मैं बात करूं और कौन कौन से एरियाज हैं, तो इसके अलावा इफ यू वांट टू इन्वेस्ट, यू कैन इन्वेस्ट थ्रू voluntary retention route, which is now a part of general route only. But under the voluntary retention route, what is the conditions? Or under the voluntary retention route, the conditions are must invest at least 75% of the committed amount. So there is a committed investment amount which you have to predefine, and once you have predefined the committed amount, you have to invest 75% of your committed investment in 3 months, and 75% of your committed investment should stay for 3 years. आपकी जो committed investment है उसकी investment should stay at least 75% during the retention period, and यहाँ पे जो retention period है that is 3 years. Now next we have is fully accessible route. In case of fully accessible route, so there are no limits. In case of fully accessible routes, there are no limits as such, not overall limits, not per issue limits, and remember that this is allowed for specific instruments only. This is allowed for specific instruments only. ठीक है, बस ये 3-4 चीजें जो आपको याद होनी चाहिए. अगर इतना याद हो गया तो इस पॉइंट से रिलेटेड कोई डाउट, कोई क्वेश्चन अगर आपके एग्जामिनेशन में आएगा, then you will be in a position to answer it for sure. You will be in a position to answer the question for sure. ठीक है, so that will be all from my side in this particular session. So technically we have done 3 RBI circulars. ये वाला circular पढ़ाऊंगा नहीं, different पढ़ाने की जरूरत नहीं है इसमें, बस ये लिमिट्स इंपॉर्टेंट थी वो मैंने आपको जल्दी से रिवाइज करा दी है. इससे ज्यादा इस पे दिमाग चलाने की जरूरत नहीं है. सर, इफ दिस क्रेडिट विल बी डिफॉल्टेड सो इट इंक्रीज द बैंक्स एनपीए और लॉस. बैंक का क्यों लॉस होगा? बैंक तो यहाँ पे कहीं है ही नहीं ना. फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टर है, वो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, और वो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में जिसका डिफॉल्ट होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी है बहुत कम. लेकिन अगर फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो की इन्वेस्टमेंट है, वो इन्वेस्टमेंट हुई है कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड में, और उस कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड के अगेंस्ट क्रेडिट डिफॉल्ट स्वैप किया गया विद अ बैंक, and if in that case this company do not pay back, then only there will be a situation of NPA for the bank. तो यहाँ पे बैंक का रोल तो कुछ इस तरह से लिमिटेड है. I hope now it is clear. Is it clear everyone? Is it clear? Okay, thank you so much Deepak. So that will be all from my side. अगर इसमें कोई डाउट लगे तो 10th और 11th फरवरी की जो वीडियो है वो एक बार देखिए, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी मैं पढ़ा चुका हूँ. अब आप लोगों को आदत हो गई है कि हर रोज जब मैं फाइनेंस पढ़ाऊं तो बिल्कुल बेसिक से पढ़ाऊं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. थोड़ा सा अब आपको भी बड़ा होना पड़ेगा मेरे साथ. रोज रोज एक ही चीज को अगर पढ़ाऊंगा तो आप सीखोगे क्या, मजा क्या आएगा? तो जो पढ़ा दिया एक बार वो दोबारा नहीं रिपीट होगा, स्पेशली द कॉन्सेप्ट. वैसे मैं बोलता हूं हर बार, लेकिन कर देता हूं रिपीट, बट आप थोड़ा पढ़ के आएंगे तो आपके लिए भी अच्छा होगा, मेरे लिए भी अच्छा होगा. ठीक है जी, डन है. तो 3 इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज हैव बीन कवर्ड. विल कैच यू इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. अगर कोई डाउट होगा तो डू लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. आई विल बी टेकिंग अप योर डाउट्स. डू रिप्लाई द आंसर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इन द कमेंट सेक्शन, एंड डू शेयर योर फीडबैक्स विद रिस्पेक्ट टू फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट, कि क्या आपको फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट इन द डेट सिक्योरिटीज समझ आया या नहीं. और अगर किसी को कोई डाउट है कि सर वो 50-50 क्या था, वो अच्छा पॉइंट था, किसी ने पूछा नहीं तो मैंने भी ज्यादा बताया नहीं, तो वो अच्छा पॉइंट है. अगर किसी को डाउट है कि 50-50 क्या है तो प्लीज टाइप कीजिएगा कमेंट सेक्शन में. आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग दैट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास फॉर श्योर. यू कैन डाउनलोड द पीडीएफ फ्रॉम द गिवन टेलीग्राम चैनल. थैंक यू सो मच. विल कैच यू सून. बाय बाय. टेक केयर. गुड लक. गॉड ब्लेस यू.